What is up, Blue Shirt Squad? M40. We're going to be covering the most interesting rogue decks coming out of this weekend. I was actually requested to do a little bit more of an in-depth discussion on 5 of them for you guys, of course. Like I said, top 5 decks coming out of Central America, France, of course, and the United Kingdom this weekend as well. So, just a little interesting discussion for what you could be looking forward to this NAWCQ season. But let's dig into that discussion, shall we? First interesting rogue pick right now is Cyber Dragons, and every time I bring up Cyber Dragons, we always have to have the discussion of, alright, number 1, you have to understand any core card in your deck allows you to contact out with the extra monster zone that the opponent has set up, which is free value, by the way, I might add. Your opponent's got something threatening up in the extra monster zone, just go ahead and contact out with it for free. Puts a body on the board, you're good to go. That's fantastic. Your deck can play through Fog Blades, alright? The interesting thing that Cyber Dragons actually have going for them is they're a functioning, going second deck. And I don't know if players just kind of forgot that this is how this deck works, but yeah, your whole deck is, don't worry about what the fuck your opponent does. We're going to just, blah, go, alright? So, as for a metagame pick, the deck's been a little bit under the weather as of late. I'm actually kind of shocked to see Cyber Dragon representation going down. I understand that the whole contact thing in other formats is way better. Alright, don't get me wrong. But at this current point in time, you know, evenly matched, still fucking fantastic. We saw it coming out of German Nats last week. I've been seeing more of it in my local area as well. Just evenly being a good fucking fantastic option, and it's something that Cyber Dragons can actually do. Plus Cybernetic Overflow is one of the best cards that they actually fucking have going for them. The ability just to unload and wipe a board for no real fucking reason. Sure, fuck it. Well, we gotta give Cyber Dragon a little bit of credit for that. So, yes, I think as a rogue candidate right now that the deck has a lot of potential going for it. Just the ability to contact out with a problem card and continue on with your day is absolutely fucking free, alright? So take it with a grain of salt. I might be putting this on a pedestal a little bit more than I should be, but I think the potential is still really fucking good, especially against Sky Striker. Like, now, number 2 on this list is Spiral. Now, I've been seeing slightly higher regional level attendance for this deck. I'm going to be honest with you, I really tossed it in the this is an abnormality pile, and then France comes along and what was it, we saw this deck get to top 8. Now granted, everything that happens in France stays in France, says my comment section, so I don't know how I feel about that. But what we figured out at this point is Spiral's alive. It's doing something. Now, I don't know if Spiral has a dedicated enough player base to get players to want to play the deck and try to innovate it. I think that's, with the big 4 right now being the way that they are, I think players would rather just play the more consistent option going into the NAWCQ than risk it on Spiral. But Spiral still has this full combo potential, everything that's there, and the way the format is right now, if Spiral goes first, I wouldn't want to be in that position. I'm actually kind of horrified as to what the deck can actually do in just a different mode and setting per se. But Spiral players look like they're pushing the note right now. They're having success with this. I consider the few regional tops that they got and coming off of France all to be very successful. Absolutely. There's no real reason why it shouldn't be. Sleeper plus double helix and combo is still really good, and I mean, hand trap representation's kind of gone down right now, so I guess that's kind of why Spiral is showing back up. When decks are playing less hand traps, except for Sky Striker and our friends over at the Salad Man Great Salad Bar, you know, yes, I understand they still play hand traps, but if you don't play those decks all day and you go first, your board is still pretty good, so you still meet the criteria of everything else. Number 3 is Mech Knight Invoked. And I've been joking about this for videos now, and I guess it just fucking started happening. I guess players just don't give a fuck about their column placement anymore. Now, I understand when you make your Heat Leo or your Sunlight Wolf, you might have something else in the same column as it, and that's going to be the target that the Mech Knight player is going to go for. Also, Mech Knight Invoked can just OTK you out of left field. Once again, you smell that water? That's going second water, because the water are champions. That's what we're starting to see here. These going second decks, granted, their representation is absolute dog shit. The one or two that do get into top cut are doing their thing. Fucking Invoked into Purgatrio on a full board, fucking don't mind if I do. If you're able to resolve a Purgatrio against a full Dingrisu board after you've exterminated all of their resources, yeah, I don't know how you're going to do that. I'm going to be honest with you. But if you are able to do that, you are literally just able to create this massive win con for yourself. So I think it's something that Invoked and Mech Knight have going for them. A, bad players not watching column placement. Number two, just not playing around trends that you really should be playing around. So I know I'm really equivalating that one little push just to bad column placement, but you'd be surprised how much players just actually don't give a flying fuck about that, and they'll just lose because of it. So, but nonetheless, Purgatrio is still very much a fucking power card in today's format. I mean, there's not much else to really say about it. Like, OTK's left field. You're like, what the fuck do I do? There's nothing that you can do. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! It happens. I mean, shouldn't have fog bladed something else, I guess, but there's a... Next up is Trickstars. Now, why have they not been doing better? Well, what I've seen out of this deck is you're going to need some sort of artifact scythe-like card. I'm not exactly sure what kind of scythe we're looking for, but the good kind. Which means you're going to have to go first. Which means you're going to have to grind your opponent to do so. And Trickstar plays a very, very, very weird grind game right now. I don't think Trickstar can handle these large diarrhea boards that Orcust and Thunder are producing. And that's why the Trickstar representation has been so down lately. If they go first and they do their whole artifact shenanigans, depending on if you're playing that engine or not, cool. You got your protection, you're able to kind of win the game. Like, it's kind of how that works. But how consistently are you able to open up these cards? That is the question that I've been asked by multiple people now. Is a deck that requires a grind game and a whole hell of a lot of combo-esque cards. I mean, yeah, you can still blow the shit out of your opponent with Trickstar, Reincarnation, Ninja, and Lockbird. We understand that combo still exists. It's still cheesy as hell. And plus, with an artifact engine, you're able to stall out your opponent. Like, it's good. For a stun-based concept, absolutely. And if not, double Reincarnation, cheese out your opponent's one-ofs. Yeah, you have diversity available to you for those matchups. But for the most part, I don't know, man. Like, Trickstar's grind is just... It's there. It's just... It's not so good. Like, enjoy drawing your Sanctums all day, though. And then you draw your Scythe, and you're like... Sorry, guys. Can't help it. Sorry. Now, that's what we're going to talk about here is actually Harpies. And I want to bring up a couple of points here. Alright, number one. Harpies actually have a really good Sky Striker matchup, from what I've seen and what I've been told. My comment section was also like, hey, no, Harpies can't be real, Robbie. If you go all day and you play Sky Striker, abso-fucking-lutely, you can be a real deck. There is no doubt in my mind. You know what Harpies do best? Activate Field Spell, clear your opponent's back row. That is the way of the Harpy player, alright? If you play against Orcust and you play against Thunder, well, if you play against Thunder, you're not doing anything. Sorry to say that. But you have a very, very, very good game against any sort of back row-ass deck. And I think that player might have just hit his best matchups literally all fucking day. Granted, he did make top 64 out of his nationals. Alright, that's an accomplishment that a lot of players can't say that they can. Let alone with fucking Harpies, ladies and gentlemen. Let that sink in for a little bit. He did it fantastically, I might add. So, as for a good rounded matchup all the way around the board, yeah, Harpies aren't it. I'm sorry to say that. But if you're going into an event and you're planning on playing nothing But fucking Sky Striker, other rogue decks that sit back row. Fuck it. Harpies. Play them. It worked out in France. 1,100 people. I don't know if you can recreate the miracle, but fuck it. You know, to be seen, to be had for another day. So those are the top 5 most interesting rogue picks coming out of the events this weekend. Guys, please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'd like to hear your guys' opinions on these. Well, guys, I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.